everyone. Welcome to our final episode of the year. Can you believe it? We've loved spending 2024 together, sharing insights, tips, and incredible stories from the pet world.
That's right, Donnie. It's been an amazing journey, and we're so grateful to all of our listeners for tuning in each week. Your support and feedback have truly made this podcast special.
We've had a pleasure of interviewing experts from different areas of the pet industry, and of course, sharing advice from our very own Dr. Amber.
Absolutely. We've covered everything from nutrition and wellness to the latest in veterinary care. It's been an honor to share this knowledge with all of you.
As we wrap up this final episode of the year, we want to reflect on some of the highlights and look ahead to what's in store for 2025. So grab your favorite beverage, get comfy, and join us as we remember 2024. This is Donnie, founder of Vital Pet Life.
And I'm Dr. Amber, the official veterinarian at Vital Pet Life.
We're here to talk about pets, pet nutrition, and wellness, anything that can help our fur children live a longer, vibrant, and happier lives.
All right.
Yeah. Welcome to Vital Pet Life Podcast.
As we reflect on the past year and what we've learned and the podcast recordings we've done, I'm just so happy with the topics that we've covered. I love the topics. I think they're so interesting and helpful for pet owners. And I just think it's really important that we try to educate people about their pets' health and nutrition, and so that pet owners can make more informed decisions about their pet's well-being. And I think we've really helped to do that with our podcast.
I know. I mean, from reading pet food labels to like basics about understanding their animals. I mean, I have a few episodes that I really feel like even me myself is educational.
Yeah.
Something I learned. Yeah. I mean, I love talking about the blue label with MSC, really understanding how the fish or like the main ingredient that we have in our product is caught, and why it's important for us to have that blue label in our bottles.
Yeah.
And yeah, what about you, Dr. Amber? I mean, I also love the pet food label,
Yeah.
like reading or understanding it. Like, I think that's very essential. That's one of the first things that as a pet parent, everybody should know and read. I started this business because I can't read or I can't even pronounce some of the ingredients that I see on pet supplements. And,
Right.
I have to deep dive and learn.
Yeah, the pet food label episode was definitely one of my favorites too. I could totally geek out about that stuff. And so, yeah, I think that was really fun and hopefully really helpful, again, to just help clients and pet owners make better decisions, more understanding of what those ingredients are on the label. So I think that was fun. And of course, the exotic pet episode with my bestie from vet school, Dr. Julie. She's just
God, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah. I mean, she's just such an amazing person, an amazing vet, and has so much knowledge. And I hope that our listeners with exotic pets got some good information out of that episode.
I feel like that episode opened up a different world in pet ownership. We always talks about dogs, cats, because that's what we have, but apparently a lot of people have like a lot of exotic pets. I've seen a lot of Instagram accounts about people owning turtles or pigs. I mean, these animals do need some health and education as a pet parent, like how to take care of them.
Yeah. And
so
as I, look back on my year with my pet, like we got a guinea pig this year. And
I know.
and so you better believe I'm texting Dr. Julie every once in a while, like, hey, my guinea pig's doing this or this, because I am a, dog and cat vet. And there's so many specific things you need to know about exotics to take good care of them. So that was really helpful for me too, as an exotic pet owner.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, this year I learned so much about being a new mom to a rescuer, like, the dynamics of having an older dog and introducing like puppy. And then, of course, the puppy, like all those toxins that he's not supposed to eat.
Yep.
So It's a lot of learning and, the dynamic of the behavior for both of them. And then, of course, still managing tuxedos, bladder stones. And I'm just so glad that, I was able to really introduce water to him in a way wherein he will really drink instead of me forcing him to drink water. I figured out a way in incorporating like a little bit of food in his water every time he eats his meal. And yeah, and I think it's helping reduce the stones. And it's I'm hoping the next time we go to the vet for his annual checkup that we dissolve it,
Yep.
like it's gone. That's my
Yeah.
new year's not resolution, but my hope.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna claim that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Dr. Amber, do you have any New Year tips? Like, I'm not really sure if like New Year here in the US involves fireworks, but I know in some of our listeners, probably in Asia, there's fireworks
Yeah.
involved for New Year celebration. So can you give us like tips on how to manage the anxiety around it? And then especially too that there's a lot of parties, like celebration. What are the advice that you can give?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anytime we're talking about anxiety behavior, it's kind of this process of training, getting them used to things, figuring out what can help to calm them. So, a couple of things. One, with fireworks, I mean, people shoot off fireworks in my neighborhood on New Year's Eve. New
They do?
Yeah, at
Oh.
midnight they'll start shooting them off. So can totally relate to this. And so a couple of things. One is you can put your dog in an inside room with no windows. And then turn on the TV, a radio, sound machine, something like that. So they're kind of insulated because they're in an inside room. And then uh, there's some kind of sound going on to try to drown out some of the sounds of the fireworks or the
Mhm.
crowds or the celebration outside. And
Mhm.
then, things like a thunder shirt that's
Oh,
for
yeah.
anxiety, put that on before everything starts. And so
Mhm.
that can help them calm down before things get really crazy. And then anxiety meds if you need. There's several different types of medication we can use. There's some that are specifically made for noise
Mhm.
anxiety. And
Oh,
so
really?
talk to your vet about that before the night of the event, obviously, so
Oh,
that you can
wow.
have some of that on hand for those dogs that really need that. And then for sure, some dogs can just lose their mind with fireworks and
Mhm.
bust out a screen or, escape the house. So make sure that your pets are microchipped in case something happens.
Oh,
They get
I
out
don't want that.
and they're found and they'll be able to be reunited with you.
That's the sad part with fireworks. Like there's every time a celebration involving fireworks, there's so many dogs or pets that are lost because they just run away. And I
Yep.
think, well, I've been giving tuxedo CBD too. I mean, I know there's a lot of like CBD in the market for pets. I tried to give it to him before celebration, like, or people, like, there's a certain, maybe like an hour or 30 minutes before, I think, that when people basically put out all their fireworks. And then I bought him an earmuffs. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
feel like it's been really helpful. And I just play music, like calming
Yep.
music. But still, it didn't help during 4th of July. It was really stressful for me. But yeah, I feel like as Tuxedo got a bit older, he is more sensitive to
Mm-hmm.
noise, even beep from the fire alarm, especially when, the batteries are gone.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
he shakes. Like I'm like, oh no, sorry, Tuxie.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
for those dogs, I mean, not just around the holidays, but for dogs that are scared of noises like that, again, it's
yeah,
just a constant process of trying
yeah.
to calm them, to, get them a little more used to it so it doesn't produce so much anxiety on those big nights. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I wonder why, because I mean, I think I've mentioned to you how the first 2 years of Tuxedo, I mean, he was exposed to probably a lot of partying
Mhm.
or something like that. I don't know, as he got older, he's been really sensitive, and especially to specific sounds. The little guy, like I was worried on him too, but he seems to be spooked out, but he will still do his business. I mean, that's the one thing that I got really, it's been a challenge for me with Tuxedo, because like he really remembers that in the yard, he heard the noise, he will not do his business for like 2 weeks.
Oh,
I have to really specifically like drive him farther away from the house because he basically remembers like, oh, there's a sound in the yard, and he doesn't even want to go to the
oh
grass.
wow.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, is it something like age related, you think, Dr. Amber, or he's just different? I feel
Yeah.
like Taxi's really in tune, but yeah.
Yeah, I think, you see some dogs who get older and they just get more used to stuff. Like it just seems like, oh, I've been through it all. Nothing bothers me anymore.
I
And then you
know. So
see
I'm
others that tend to
curious.
get more anxious with age. I definitely
Yeah.
saw that with my little Pekingese that I had. I got her when I was in vet school. And I think part of it was when she started to lose some of her hearing, maybe she wasn't seeing as well.
Oh.
And so she couldn't quite make out her surroundings anymore. And so she got more
Mm.
anxious. And so you can kind of see
Aw.
it going both ways.
I've thought of that because like he's turning 12. I mean, he's still pretty like perky, but he's healthy other than the stones. Like I don't want to think of the stones as a, obstruction to his health, because like I learned from research that some dogs pretty much live through their life with stones, I heard. But maybe I've really seen even his loudness. Like Tuxedo's very talkative.
Hmm.
So he, like, even the pitch of his voice, like the moment like I carry the other dog, like he will be like, I'm like, oh my
Ah,
god, where is the sound coming from? Like, maybe that could be it too. Maybe, do you think he's losing his hearing? I mean, this is another podcast.
yeah.
I think it will be a good one. But yeah, I mean, I don't want. I'm just curious.
Yeah. I mean, it could be. It could be. And then they're,
Oh, Foxy.
and some dogs will get not only losing their eyesight or their hearing, but get a little bit of dementia. They get a little senile, and so they're confused, like what is going on.
Oh,
And I definitely saw that with my old dog. Like she would go out in the backyard and she would like walk along the fence line because I think she would like get lost if she was in the middle of the yard. And so she would stay like
mhm.
against the fence where she knew where she was. So all of that can play a role.
Mm, yeah, I think that's the reason why, like, I've noticed, like, he really wants me around. Like, I can really feel, like, the whole, like, we call it FOMOness, but I think fear of missing
Yeah.
out. That I feel like he just really needs me to, like, I think I'm like his constant reminder he's
Yeah.
okay if he sees me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Oh, it makes me sad, but it's okay. I'm still grateful he's
Yeah.
healthy.
Yep.
Oh, all right. Is there anything else like that you can recommend, or like tips for New Year's?
We always like if you're having holiday get-togethers, for Christmas or New Year's. Obviously, if your dog is so anxious in those situations, like too many people or has any type of aggression towards strangers, we definitely want to keep
Mm,
them, like locked up in a safe place for them, safe for the people, kennel train if they're not already. And then just always make sure that they have a way out. Even if your dog is like really used to lots of people and very friendly, like they can still get overwhelmed in a situation where there's a lot
mhm,
of noise, there's a lot of people, maybe kids
mhm.
who don't have the same kind of boundaries with dogs. And so we just want to make sure that there's a place that they can go where they feel safe. So if they go behind the couch, if they go into their kennel, if they go into the other room or go into
Yeah.
the basement, wherever it is, just make sure that they have access to that safe place. And then look for, signs of anxiety, like barking, panting, pacing, tucking their tail,
Peeing.
drooling.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything like that. And
Shaking.
just kind of be aware of those signs so that we can try to avoid any kind of situation before it happens.
Exactly. What about toxic foods? Like I know like a lot of like culture, like especially like growing up in the Philippines, like New Year's always about like having all the round things, may it be food. Like I remember eating a lot of grapes. Like there's always
Yeah.
grapes, oranges, apple. Like I mean, we talk about this like toxic foods like grapes, everyone,
Yep.
like you should know that it's very toxic to your animals,
Right.
especially dogs. Yeah,
Yeah.
so just be careful.
I think that, most of us we can think of chocolate,
Oh, chocolate too,
grapes,
yeah.
raisins, of course.
Mhm.
Anything in the onion family, so onions and garlic.
Yeah,
Um
avocado too, like
yeah, the
there's
pits
something
for
in
sure.
avocado.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Avocado. So, and then sugary foods are just not good for them. Anything that contains xylitol, so a
Yeah.
lot of, candies, and some people, I guess you can cook with it. I've never done it. But
Oh,
the other
really?
thing is like high fat or really rich foods, roasts and,
Mm.
gravy and stuff like that. Like, especially in dogs, when they eat a really high fat, rich meal. So if they get into the whole pot roast, they're really at high risk for pancreatitis. So anything, we
Um,
just want to keep those things away from where they can
away,
eat
yeah.
it. And some dogs are just so sensitive, like they can, if you're just, oh, I'm going to give my dog a treat, and you give him a few bites,
Mm.
like sometimes that's enough to push them over the edge. And so just stay away from those high fat, rich foods. And then we mentioned this in an earlier podcast, I think, but raw bread dough is toxic. And so,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so they eat it. One of the byproducts of fermentation is alcohol, but also just the rising of the dough. So you get like, they can get drunk from it, but they can also get blockages because that dough just puffs up inside. And then, of course, alcoholic beverages, like just, don't do it for your dogs. So
Yeah,
all of those
that's true.
things to especially pay attention to around the holidays.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Amber. This is really helpful. What's your New Year's resolution for you and your pet?
It would be to get out more. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but I just want to get out more. I want to be in nature.
Well, I actually have not thought about any New Year. I personally, just gonna say, I'm not a New Year's resolution person. I am a all year round, continually improving type of person. But there's one thing I think about. There's one thing that I've always wanted to do with either Chip or Biscuit, and it's to try to get them to do a little high five. That's something we got our cats growing up to do, and that may be a good New Year's resolution to try to get them to do. I think that'd be really cute for video content.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw you a little bit of a curveball here because I don't just have dogs and cats, I also have two horses. So my New Year's resolution is I want to take my horse Gatsby to a working cow competition. So where we're going to do some cow work together in a competition.
A big thank you to everyone who tuned in today. As always, we'd love to hear your input in this episode as well as ideas for topics you'd like to hear in 2025. Please feel free to reach out to us at podcast@vitalpetlife.com with all your questions, insights, and ideas. We are grateful to all of you. Have a safe and fun filled new year.
This is Dr. Amber, your official veterinarian at Vital Pet Life. Have a safe and happy New Year celebration with your family and your pets.